Exactly what I'm going to do later this morning. And big salute, hats off, fair winds and following seas, and rest in peace to all of those patriots. Folks, before we talk about anything happening today with regards to drones, ceasefires, oil tankers, the Strait of Hormuz, I've got a bigger question that seems to be falling into this entire diaspora. Who is in charge in Iran? Who is making the bad decisions there? Who is making the 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 moves in the Strait of Hormuz? And I think we need to ask that question because nobody in Washington D.C. and I haven't heard anyone on your favorite cable news channels talk about this. I haven't heard the ladies in the cocktail dresses at 5 a.m. Ainsley. I haven't heard the token black guy on the couch, Lawrence. I haven't heard the token giggler on the couch, Brian. I haven't heard, well, I don't even want to name any of the people on CNN um, for fear of catching on fire, but I haven't heard anybody talk about this. None of them seem to be comfortable asking the question out loud. Who is actually running Iran? Because Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not been seen in the way you would expect from the man supposedly commanding one of the most dangerous regimes on earth. And you and I both know the president of the United States went and had his annual health checkup, and people were melting down because they didn't see him for 4 hours. You had people like Hunter Biden, of all people, going on X and saying, "Where's the president?" That's just a number of hours. But none of those same people will say a word about where the actual supreme leader is of Iran, the same people that they sent for. He's had no public appearances, no clear proof of life, no strong, just visual confirmation, like a sneak peek. This guy's turned into Bigfoot. Like we get sightings of Bigfoot everywhere. And 100 and I would say 300 million people in America have a cell phone and they can't get a photo of the damn thing. Where's Bigfoot? Who do we see next? Bigfoot or the Ayatollah? But we got no confirmation that he's healthy, in control. He's not making decisions. And now people inside of Iran are reportedly, not reportedly, we're not going to use that term. They are putting up missing person style notices, trolling this dude. I got to show you this. It is absolutely amazing to see this. I am stunned that these people are allowed to do this. Now, I'm sure their families will probably be taken hostage and, to a re education camp in a location near you. Look at this, a missing person notice put up for Mojtaba Khomeini. President or residents in Karaj have posted missing person notices for Iran's new supreme leader, who has remained out of public view for 3 months after reportedly being injured in an airstrike that killed his father. He was probably sitting on daddy's lap. I want you to see this. This is crazy. But CNN, Fox News, MS Now, MSDNC, News Nation, OAN, you fill in the blank. They're scared to talk about this. They don't want to offend anybody. They'll gladly bring on people to laugh at Charlie Kirk's death, to make fun of a widow, but they won't say a damn word about this. This guy committed actual genocide of their numbers of 50,000 people.
نه بابا این مفقود نشده. مجتبی از ترسش به خصوص از خشم مردم خودشو تو لونه موشها پنهون کرده.
It reminds me of somebody losing their dog. They're like, hey, have you seen Snuggles? Text whatever number if you see Snuggles. Why won't the news media touch this? And they're not, these are everywhere. Now, this next one's fitting. It's on a garbage can or a bus stop. And now that the internet has been restored in Iran, we're getting this kind of stuff. A little question for the chat this morning. A little question. Is the alleged leader of Iran, Mojtaba Khomeini, is he alive? Is there anyone that believes this guy is alive? And if he is, where's he at? Where is he at? And more importantly, who's in charge? Who is in charge in Iran right now? If he's not alive, if he's not alive, who is? Who's running the show here? Okay, that's my big question. And that's my thumbnail that I got this morning. Who's in charge? Who's answering the phone there? I don't understand why the news media is not asking this question. Oh, I love it. We've already got one. I love it. I love the questions like this. Doesn't matter, even if he is alive, he's irrelevant. Laurel, you could be right. But Laurel, let me ask Laurel this question, and this question is for everyone. If he is alive and he's making these decisions, does that make this even worse? And then on the same side of the coin, if he's alive and he's not making these decisions, is this a military coup? And does that make getting any level of a ceasefire accomplished or any level of a peace deal accomplished? I think it makes everything more complicated, much more complicated. Now, I'm going to take you back. This is a little trip down memory lane. This is an article from Reuters dated back April 11th. Iran's new supreme leader has severe and disfiguring wounds. I would say the hat is disfiguring, or whatever you call that, the Durka Burka. That's more disfiguring. That's where I'm at right now. Reuters is the only one to bring this up 3 months ago, but they haven't said a damn word about this lately. That's the part Americans need to understand. This is not just a rumor about one dude. This is a command and control problem. If the supreme leader is hidden, incapacitated, badly wounded, or possibly dead, then who's giving the orders? Is it the IRGC? Is it a hidden council? Is it a faction inside of the regime trying to prove strength? And when a hostile regime has drones, missiles, all this other stuff, oil leverage, uranium. International inspectors cannot fully verify that question. It's not gossip anymore. We have to assume he's dead. This is a national security question. The world is starting to realize something very serious may be happening inside of Iran. And I know all of you knew this 4 months ago. You were all very aware that the regime is trying to project power. They don't have it, but they're trying to project it. And I know all of you knew that. And this is a dicey situation. There's more stuff here. And this was the first, I know that article was the first clue, but this one got my head. I started scratching my Razorback hat, my hat that I wear to Ramadan. The Islamic Republic once again accidentally confirmed that he's dead. Accidentally. They unveiled. They like to invade. They unveiled a mural of all the leaders that have been martyred. And up in the top right corner of the mural, they put my homie, Mojtaba Khomeini, the lover of all things bad. They put him up there by mistake. Yeah, they put him up there by mistake. They didn't mean to. The secret always wants to come out. What are your thoughts? I think this is huge. Fake propaganda? Why would they fake him being dead? I don't think they would fake him being dead. Let me ask you this. Who has been more effective at running their country? A possibly dead Khomeini or the guy that we had to deal with? You remember the guy that we had to deal with that everybody thought he was basically oatmeal? This guy. Who's been more effective?
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin. I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, so I think she's not qualified to be president. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping. She knows so long as she was 9.
Who has been more effective? I would put my money on this guy not being more effective. I would say that the Ayatollah that we haven't actually seen has been more effective. Without a shadow of a doubt. This is crazy. But now, I'll tell you what's really about to happen. Apparently, the Biden team, the Biden campaign, they're scrambling to stop these tapes coming out. They're about to release the tapes of his interview where he was, mumbling. So who's been more effective? 1 for the Ayatollah, 2 for Biden. I think he's been more effective. It's sad that we can even say this out loud about this. But it's happening, or it did happen. And the news media ignored saying anything about Joe Biden's capacities. They're ignoring saying anything about the Ayatollah being dead or possibly being dead. Somebody said, which Biden, the 8-foot guy or the 5-foot guy? Yeah, no kidding. But I don't know how. This is so something clued me into this, and I believe the president knows the answer, and I don't believe that he wants to give it away yet. I want you to listen to this little clip I've got here from well, everybody's favorite cocktail dress wearing TV show. Listen to this.
When I had a chance to talk to the president about this yesterday, I was most curious about the rumored potential meeting with the new Supreme Leader, especially because Epic Fury has killed the new Supreme Leader's dad and his wife and his kid. So does he even want to meet with President Trump if that is something that is on the table? The president said he knows he is probably not the new Supreme Leader's favorite person.
I don't want to meet, but if I did meet, I'd be honored to meet him. I'd like to see if we make a deal. As far as Iran's concerned, you're going to find out what the deal is. But the main parts of the deal is they can't have a nuclear weapon. We're going to win on paper, or we're going to win military. One way or the other.
And on the front line in Ukraine, look at this. Some incredible new video of a Ukrainian drone that got jammed.
So that's a little bit of Ukraine stuff going on there, right? Ukraine, Russia. Zelensky is proposing a meeting with Putin. We'll get into that a little bit. All of your favorite members of Congress just approved to send $9 billion of your tax money to this guy. I'm upset about that. It bothers me. I don't like that idea. I don't want to send any money anywhere until like towns like Bug Tussle, Arkansas look like Dubai. But I believe the president revealed something. He's really good about weaving in some info. And we said, I'd love to meet him. I'd love to meet him and Elvis and Bigfoot. I think Elvis is a preacher down here in southern Arkansas somewhere, right? Some people believe that. I think Amelia Earhart's still flying for Pan Am. I think Marilyn Monroe is dancing at the local club. Jimi Hendrix is picking and grinning on Hee Haw nowadays, right? That's where I'm at right now. I'd love to get your thoughts. Now you're thinking right. I don't know what that means. I don't even like turning left. I always think right. I want my money back, Marley. You're absolutely right. I want some damn money back. Give me a refund. What did we get from Ukraine? I want you to see this. Now, this is something interesting happening right now after Iran restored internet access. We're starting to get some footage coming out of there about things that are happening. And one of the things that worries me that's happening is this. They're digging up some of their tunnels that we shut down. Look at that. They're digging these up. This is access to some of these ballistic missiles that they've got. You see that? I don't like it. I don't like seeing that. I think we need to either cover them back up or close everything there permanently. And you know what I'm talking about. But Iran has a lot of gall. They've got a lot of nerve. They've got a lot of Well, I'll just say this. There's a thin line between bravery and stupidity. That's what I think. Somebody says Elvis swagger. They do have a lot of Elvis swagger. If you think Elvis is alive, take some get on some meds. Get on some meds. That's what I would think. The preacher in Lower Arkansas in Hot Springs is not Elvis. But if that's what you want to believe, that's what makes you comfortable. Make yourself comfortable is my first thought, right? That's where I'm at right now. I've got to give a big shout out. I got to pay the bills here. This company has helped me a lot with my channel. It's called Birch Gold Group. Great organization. Birch Gold has helped me help a lot of veterans. You're starting to see a dip in gold. Gold is down to, wait for it, $4,300 an ounce. Silver is down to $67 an ounce. I think it was at a high of about $81 an ounce. And I've got some silver eagles. I might give one away. I might give a silver eagle away today to a new member on the channel. But when we're seeing these supply restraints, these surges, the gas prices are going up. One thing that I've found is silver. I buy a lot of silver. And if you've been thinking about it for years, but have still never moved some of your savings into gold, silver, some of these other metals, I would highly recommend you give them a call. I've been partnered with these guys for about a year now, and I'm glad that I have, because I'm starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel with some of this stuff. Okay. And you can just text my name to 989898. If you've never bought anything from them before, they give a huge first time gold buyer rebate. And I would recommend you give them a call. And just text that number. They'll text you back. They've got all these people that are working there that are happy to help you. You don't have to press 1 for English. They call you. So text 989898, my name. They'll hook you up. They'll take care of you. Great people. And I'm very peculiar on who I advertise for here on my channel. I turn a lot of those things down because I don't trust a lot of these people. And I'm sure a lot of you don't trust them either. Here's one thing that Iran, talking about gutsy, talking about ballsy, talking about some gall. Listen to this.
Are the negotiations right now blocked? Or do you think that a memorandum of understanding can be reached quickly?
In my opinion, the negotiations are at a deadlock, and Trump must break this deadlock.
They are waiting for an answer from Iran.
Iran has openly stated that our assets have been frozen, and you must release them. The Americans are not telling the truth in this regard.
So the frozen assets.
Wait, let me show you something in the background. Once again, they let the cat out of the bag. Look at the image in the background of the 3 former Ayatollahs. They're letting all this information out and nobody's paying attention. This guy right here wants the United States to release $24 billion in assets before they will come to the table. Look at this. Iran vows to expand the war to the Mediterranean. Advisor to Iran's supreme leader said the negotiations are at a deadlock. Trump must break the deadlock. The $24 billion in frozen assets is the key sticking point. They want money. He says release $12 billion, another $12 billion later, and then we'll talk a peace deal. I don't think so, homie. I don't think so, but I do like that they've got the photo of the 3 former leaders there. Once again, they do this. Last night, Iran launched a bunch of drones towards the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces intercepted at least 3. I think the number is as high as 6. Also, the United States dropped some warheads on foreheads on Keshem Island. Says they launched at least or shot down at least 4, possibly 6. So that's a big move. We've got more information coming in as well. Explosions, air defense activity reported within the last hour from Iran's Karg Island. And you all know Karg Island, or you should. That's basically the bread and butter here of the entire program. The entire Iranian regime is basically on this little small piece of land, right here that is very valuable. All those oil containers there. You see that? That's where the lifeblood of that country flows through. And if we're starting to hit that stuff, that's a bad day for them. Bad day. Let's go here.
What we're trying to achieve in the negotiations is pretty simple. We want our maximalist demands that we would achieve if we were using military force. That is what we want from the regime. We don't intend to throw them a lifeline and unfreeze frozen assets to them and give them billions of dollars so that they can recover, reverse the tenets and implementation of the deal and go back to where they were. Who do they think they're talking to? Are we fools? That's not who we are. What President Trump is insisting on, I'm offering you something. You give me what I'm trying to achieve through military force and economic pressure, or I return to military force. That's the deal that's on the table. What this government official is talking about is something quite different. We're not conducting an arbitration between a labor union and a business firm here, and we try to work something out equitably. That's not what this is about. This is meet our objectives without having to impose more military force on you or not.
I think that's what it comes to. General Jack Keane, I wish this guy was in and around the cabinet. To me, there's no way moving forward except the only thing that Iran understands. They understand one thing. They understand power, force, intimidation. I think we've been playing too nice for a long time. And I do think that the president of the United States may have changed a little bit. Prior to being elected, I think he changed a little bit. For the good, but I think he's looking at things a little different. I'm going to refill my coffee. And I want to play a clip here while I'm refilling my coffee, and I want you to check this out.
Go ahead.
You had talked a couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview, and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly an Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Bro, that's honestly I feel like you can hear a little emotion in him. It is a wonderful and good thing to have a president that cares about heaven. Like this is actually a bigger deal than I think people will realize. He might be saved. And I want to talk about why I think that. I've been able to have some conversations with people who work, directly with the president. And I do know from talking to those people, he has people around him who have for years been clearly sharing the gospel with the president, like very, very clearly. So he does have that. I do know that after the assassination attempt, as would happen with most people who had a near-death experience, he had a significant moment of spiritual reflection in his life. And I do know that he prayed with someone in a very real way about his relationship with God. What you'll see is when President Trump says stuff like he does in that clip, what you immediately see is the reaction online is a bunch of like theology nerds who, have been in seminary for 50 years that are like, see, he's not, this guy doesn't know anything. And they jump all over it. As a pastor, it's like what people don't understand about President Trump is he talks about Christianity like a normal blue collar dude that didn't grow up around Christianity. Like,
I think that's a fact. I meet a lot of guys that are ex-military. I got a lot of guys in the military, and I'm probably as guilty of it as anyone. And I want you to hear what he says here.
when I'm in the lobby and I'm praying with normal blue collar dudes that didn't grow up around Christianity to get saved, like they're saying the F word in their salvation prayer.
Yeah.
Like actually, there are people at our Mesquite campus are putting weed in the offering basket. The theology nerd online would be like, oh, look at these degenerate. They're clearly not saved. Honestly, I think the Lord is so pleased. I think he's gone, man, in the way that they know how, with their best understanding, they're trying to honor me. Bro, here's what I got in my heart. What if President Trump trusts Jesus, becomes the first president that I'm aware of in United States history to be converted while he's in office? And can you imagine like him getting baptized on the South Lawn? Like, can you imagine if our nation watched their leader humble himself before the living God, give his life to Christ, and have a nationally public baptism?
That'd be amazing.
Bro.
What are your thoughts about this? This is Josh Howerton, pastor from Lake Point Church down in Dallas. I think that's a very powerful little clip here, talking about how the president may have changed, or I think we've watched an evolution of what occurred to him whenever he literally got shot. I think maybe prior to him being shot, there could have been a lot more fireworks in Iran. And he said he prayed with somebody. Does anybody think it was Franklin Graham? Anybody think that? Billy Graham's son? That's what I think. Vicky, The Great Awakening. I believe that photo when he was down on the ground and there was that photo looking through someone's legs of him staring at the ground, seeing his own bloodshed there on the that podium or the platform, and then getting back up, probably changed this guy. Near-death experience. I don't know how much more near death you get than get shot in the ear. Somebody said, no doubt, Trump and Graham. Billy Graham, great dude. His son, Franklin, I think he's a great man as well. But I think the president is trying to give as much of an opportunity to Iran as feasibly possible, maybe to the point where he's being too forgiving.
But if they're so desperate, Mr. President, why haven't they said yes to the terms you're proposing?
Strong, they're proud. There are things they never thought they'd be doing that they're going to have to do. They've got no choice. And it takes a little while. You know, you're talking about 47 years of getting away with whatever they wanted. I mean, this should have been done long ago. This should have been done by other presidents or other countries. It doesn't have to be us, other countries. But they were very close to having a nuclear weapon twice. That was when I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which was a path. That deal, the JCPOA.
So, I mean, he brings up a great point. This should have been something done long time ago. I don't think he's wrong there. The news media will never talk about that. They're not allowed to talk about that. You'll be fired if you talk about that. If you're a member of whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, liberal news outlet, you're not allowed to talk about that. You're not allowed to bring up the failures of the past. But I think now we're starting to see the swamp being drained. Is it as perfect as we want? Have we seen the arrest that we want? Maybe not. Do we have some expectations that haven't been met? I would say yes. We got some new members here on the channel. Irish Babe, I have a guitar or two for your project. For those that don't know, I've got guitars back here. That is my personal guitar there, but I'm trying to get some new guitars to send to some veterans across the country. I use a lot of the money from super chats and memberships to do that. So Irish Baby, thank you so much. Shout out to a super chat this morning from Memphis. Good morning, brother Ben. Everybody in the chat, stay blessed. Stay prayed up, I think somebody said in the chat. 12-year-old basement dweller is Iran's new leader. Diane, new member. Thank you for becoming a new member. That really, really helps a lot. You don't even understand how much that helps when we get new members on the channel. And if you do become a new member, you get access to a private Discord server. It's a chat group. There's hundreds of people in there. I'm in there all the time. And I'll put a link there in the chat. It helps a lot. Let's go here. We've got some other stuff coming in this morning. And this is where the clown show is starting to be revealed. We're starting to see the real clown car open, and they're all jumping out. And I don't know if they can jump out fast enough and run away. This is an X post by Elon Musk. They should change their name to the Southern False Flag Center, talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center. They use $4.1 million in donor money to fund the KKK and a bunch of extremist groups. There's some people about to go to jail. And I don't know how many of you in the chat are members of the Southern Poverty Law Center. I would cancel my membership if this was what they were using my money for. Host extremist group rallies, everything's extremist. Purchase materials for cross burnings. Sounds like Democrat rally. Purchase materials to make KKK robes and hoods. How many of you think the Southern Poverty Law Center is funding Graham Plattner's campaign? I'm stunned by this.
The Justice Department alleges some SPLC employees knew that informants used the money for recruiting and growing their organizations, but they're accusing the SPLC of essentially deceiving donors by not telling them that some of their funds were secretly being used to fund these extremist activities. In one instance, the DOJ says an SPLC employee encouraged two KKK members to stay in the movement, even though they wanted to leave. The two were allegedly offered a $1,200 monthly salary as informants, money that they then used to attend extremist rallies. Per the DOJ, an SPLC.
Look at that. This whole Charlottesville rally was staged. This was an entirely scripted. This was basically a skit from Saturday Night Live.
SPLC worker was aware one of the informants used donors' money to purchase material to make Ku Klux Klan garments for others. The DOJ says both informants were reimbursed by the SPLC with donor money for all expenses they incurred for cross-burning events, to include the wood and fuel used. The SPLC allegedly paid
They bought firewood for KKK rallies.
Informants through fake accounts. The new information builds on an indictment that the DOJ filed in April, charging the SPLC with 11 counts, including wire fraud.
The sad thing about all this is it worked. They almost tripled their revenue after the now famous Charlottesville rally, where a person was killed, and one of the guys they were paying was promoting that rally, coordinating transportation.
Attorney Abby Lowell, who represents the SPLC, says this apparent superseding indictment attempts to shore up the flaws in the initial charges, but it changes nothing. The SPLC did not lie to its donors, it did not mislead banks it did business with, and its informant program prevented violence and saved lives. Lowell is also taking issue with the fact that a draft indictment was released to the media before it was unsealed by the court, which they say violates federal grand jury secrecy rules.
So they're worried about the indictment being leaked to the news media. They were not worried about the Supreme Court documents being released about Roe versus Wade. We're streaming over on Kick. Man, why I never get lucky and get paid by these idiots. I would have loved for the Southern Poverty Law Center to pay me. Nickel Front, thank you for watching over on Kick. We got a lot of people on Kick, Rumble, Twitch, X, all this stuff. This is a Saturday Night Live skit that has been found out. That's what this has happened. Let's see here. Let's keep sending out the Bibles. For those of you that don't know, like I said, a lot of the money I use from memberships and stuff like that, I send out these. I've got these King James Version military Bibles. They're large print. Oh, sorry. It's in Army green. I've got some in navy blue as well. So there you go. I'm trying to send those out to as many people as I possibly can. If you're a member of the Discord, you saw the stack that I've got. Stanley, get somebody a new set of guitar strings. Stanley, thank you so much. New member. Thank you, Ben, for all you do. Patricia, God bless you. I appreciate you. I don't know what this is. Shapiro was also behind it. Ben Shapiro or Josh? I think Josh Shapiro. If I'm looking for a Shapiro to blame, it's going to be the governor of Pennsylvania, the same guy that was signing the bombs that were going to Ukraine. Could you imagine if a Republican senator came out and signed bombs going to Iran? Now, this guy right here, I want to show you this. Steve Cortez. And thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that. I want to show you this. So Steve Cortez used to work at CNN. They fired him for telling the truth about Charlottesville. Watch this. And he's wearing a Roll Tide shirt. Roll Tide.
Patriots, I was fired from CNN because I constantly told the truth about the Charlottesville hoax, the ridiculous lie that Donald Trump had praised bigots in Charlottesville when in fact the exact opposite was true. Well, it now turns out that Charlottesville hoax, that lie, was itself based upon a grand lie. We now have details from the DOJ that the SPLC, a corrupt leftist activist organization, paid $300,000 to one scumbag to organize the Charlottesville riot itself. So the entire event was staged. It was financed and organized by the left. And they were then able to successfully create a massive and unfortunately largely successful lie, a propaganda campaign that stemmed from the very event that they organized.
Remember the good people on both sides thing? This was all staged. Big shout out to my super chatters this morning.
Amen. Hallelujah. And boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. I tell you what I'm going to do. I've got one of these sleeves full of American Eagles here. I'm going to give one of these away to a new member or a member on the channel, not just a new member. I'm going to pick a random member on the channel today and send you a brand new uncirculated Silver Eagle. Call it the 250. We'll call it the 250 giveaway. New members, if you want to get one, be a member on the channel. I'm going to pick a random member on the channel and send you a 1 ounce Silver Eagle coin there that I buy from Birch Gold. What are your thoughts about all of this information that's coming out? I believe that we knew this was happening. I think all of you knew. And I think there is a giant I told you so coming from everybody watching. I think everybody watching knew this. I think sometimes I have to be a little slow to get there because I have to maintain some credibility. I'm sure I don't have any because I lived on a submarine for a long time. My credibility is shot. Jonathan, new member, he's in it to win it. He's wanting a new Silver. I love the way the way silver sounds. Listen to this. I love the way silver sounds. It's just got that ting of freedom to it. It's got that silver freedom sound to it. Thank you very much, Jonathan, becoming a new member. Chuck Baker, $20 super chat. Nice bike, Chuck. Is that a Road Glide or Street Glide?
Amen. Hallelujah. And
Boom
shakalaka.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm headed up to Pig Trail Harley Davidson this morning, actually. This morning, I'm going up to Pig Trail. I've got to pick up a couple of things. Matthew became a new member. Thank you, Matthew Penfield. Big, how dare you to all the new members. Thank you. Let's talk about this for a little bit. This is going nowhere fast. The Senate rejects the SAVE Act. John Thune, you got to leave, man. You got to get gone. Lindsey Graham's amendment to attach the SAVE Act to the immigration funding package that they just passed failed when Senator Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis voted no with Democrats to block the SAVE Act. This is what the SAVE Act would do. All voters show ID. All voters show proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. No men in dude sports, or no men in women's sports, sorry. We're not seeing women in dude sports. I can't wait to see some woman play linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're never going to see that. It's always loser dudes against women. No mutilization surgery for children. We're never going to see a woman play for the Green Bay Packers. We're never going to see some woman lace them up for the Auburn Tigers. I would love to see some women play for the Auburn Tigers. Y'all know that I'm a Razorback fan, so there you go. DC Power gave away 10 memberships.
Amen. Hallelujah. And boom shakalaka.
Thank you, DC Power. Love it. Grimwrath, member for 14 months. Nice beard. Nice beard. Got that Ayatollah beard rocking over there. But we're not going to see anything happen right now as long as we have these same loser rhino Republicans. Thune buffoon. That's a you're a poet and didn't know it kind of thing. I love it. Thank you very much for that.